We're here. We could not be happier. This is Turn Bark time. I'm the Turn.
I'm the Bark.
And we are back, baby. Still here for a long time. Welcome to all of our followers, watchers. And if you're new out there, another season, Barker, of our Trans-Cascadian adventure.
That's right.
This, Barker, what season is this, Barker?
Season 3.
Season 3.
Episode uno.
1. But, Barker, this is episode
50. We have done this 50 times.
We've done it against all everyone says to stop. We can't stop. We won't be stopped. 50 episodes. This is incredible. So, Barker, first off, catch us up. How have you been? Right? We obviously didn't start at the beginning of the school year just because of all the craziness going on. But tell the people how you've been.
I've been great. As you guys know, when I moved here to Longview, I became the head football coach at Ari Long. So we made some steps forward this year. Won 2 games, which is we won our first home game in like 4 years. So things are trending in the right direction. We're giving up less points, scoring more points. Should be, if both of those trends hold true, we'll be about 50-50 negative. We'll be at 20 points and 20 points. So, I mean, a lot of 50-50 balls there. Mm-hmm. I'm teaching AP World. So the first time I've ever taught AP and world history in a while. So I'm learning a lot of stuff. We're talking about the Safavids in Persia and all kinds of the great, all of the ethnic groups that are in there that the names you've like not seen in a long time, and asking kids to try and learn about places when they're like have no reference. You might as well be teaching about like Tolkien and we're in the Shire.
Yeah,
they know more about that than where we're at right now. But it's fun. It's great to be doing something different. Yeah, the kids are having fun. My kids both played soccer.
Nice.
So yeah, we're kicking the soccer ball. We figured out which way to go the right way.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, Addie's learning how to turn the ball.
Oh, so, there you go.
Yeah.
Not just kick it and then have to run around the ball and then kick it a different direction.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Work in progress. How are things for you, Zach?
Oh man, they're going well. I'm just happy to be back in the building. I'm happy to have kids back. I'm willing to wear my mask, do whatever I need to do, just because it's a semi-normal year. It's been fun. Like I had back in October, we had our first pep assembly since March of 2020, and so I'll definitely take it. It was an extremely exciting event. Coached football as well for the middle school. Got to combine our teams this year just due to lack of players originally, and then all these players show up, so we have this big team. But they went undefeated. They did a great job. Played good sound football and sending up some. I think we're sending up about like 20, 25 8th graders to the high school, and are going to have about 15 to 20 players for 7th graders that'll continue next year. And so yeah, it's nice to be back. It's just nice to see you, buddy. So we've been texting, but we haven't gotten a chance to actually sit down. What's really fun, like we've told you guys before, is Barker and I have already talked for 2 hours on Skype. This is just the recording that we're actually doing. So,
and we were both at the coast last week. We were just 2 hours apart.
Yeah.
On the coast. So yeah, I was in Long Beach. He was in Ocean Shores.
Yep.
So the ESPN still works.
Yep. Great minds always sort of think alike. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Possibly. It's like we never moved away.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking pupusas. Kids were asking me today, Barker, what's your favorite food? And I go, what I'm jonesing for right now is some Rich's Tacos pupusas. That is an unpaid, unsolicited mention there. Yeah. Shout out to Rich's Tacos, the greatest pupusas in Quincy.
Closed for the year for right now. Took the year off. He's traveling, sounds like. So Rich, nice job. Not sure if you watched the show, but keep up the tacos. They're delicious. Some other shout outs that we got to make. So last year, I had the opportunity to be on a podcast from my fiance's friends. So this is a shout out to their podcast. You can go find them. They're also on Spotify. They're also on YouTube. They're called At the Lucky Duck. Had a great 2-hour conversation with them. So shout out to At the Lucky Duck. If you're looking for a podcast of people just, it's really cool. It's 2 brothers, and they just interview their friends and they kind of roll with the punches and talk about whatever we want to talk about. So we talked about, what it's like to be a teacher. We talked about historical events. We talked about sports. I mean, a fun time. So again, follow them, give them a shout out to at the Lucky Duck. I know we don't have many followers, but but Barker, what do we have for subscribers right now?
I think 192.
192. We broke the 190 barrier. There will be a major celebration for 200. Don't know what that'll be, but we're 8 subscribers away. Barker may even shave his beard or part of it. Probably won't, but it's still worth a shot to say it every time.
So, I will drink a Mexicoke and go find Crispitos.
Ooh, that is a fantastic idea. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so tonight for episode 50, we got to give a little backstory. As many of you know, I'm engaged to a wonderful woman named India Wolfendale, and we actually got the opportunity October 22nd through October 25th. We flew down to Florida, to Jacksonville, actually, a part of Florida I hadn't been to. And we drove out to the coast to St. Augustine, Florida, which, shout out to America's oldest city, St. Augustine, not to be mistaken with San Francisco, which was founded by the Germans in 1803. They named it San Diego. If you get that reference, congratulations. You are as big a Will Ferrell fan as I am. But we got to go travel out to St. Augustine and heard this story from my fiance. And then I heard it from her mom and her sister, as well as her dad. And so her dad is a big history buff and always would kind of like talk to them about different historical events and things like that happened. Well, anyway, there is a place just south of St. Augustine that was home to a major massacre by the Spanish. However, the people they were massacring might not be as well known. They are French. And I don't know if many people knew that France had actually colonized Florida. But anyway, he would tell this story of this massacre as they were driving. It's about a 5-hour drive from their place. I think it's about a 5-hour drive from their place to St. Augustine. And so this is a shout out to my future father-in-law, Ted. Barker and I are going to cover the Matanzas Inlet Massacre. So, Barker, would you like to start us off?
Well, if we're Sherman and Peabody, we're going to turn the Wayback Machine back to 1565. So if you don't know what's going on in 1565, not a whole lot in North America. Like America doesn't exist, Mexico doesn't exist, Canada doesn't exist, right? Everything, it's still kind of the mad scramble. And you're kind of dealing with the Reformation. So people are deciding like, Catholicism not for everybody. And so there's new versions of Christianity popping up. And so religious tolerance wasn't exactly in the highest degree. And essentially what happens in Florida is you have the Spaniards who've been pillaging, for lack of a better term, the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. And then eventually the French, assuming that they would have to come down from like New Orleans, right? Somewhere in there, like end up in France as well. They're sending people over. It's the scramble, right? Nobody has MapQuest. Nobody knows where the borders are. The French land in the St. Johns River, and they build a fort called Fort Caroline, which is a suburb of Jacksonville today. It's in Duval County. Sorry, I cared more about Jacksonville when they had Gardner Minshew, but then he left.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Sorry. Trevor Lawrence doesn't do it for me. Anyway, the French were on the St. Johns River, and then, as Zach Turner's already said, the Spanish land at St. Augustine. And they both decide that the other one shouldn't be there. And part of this is because Spain, again, is exporting a little colonialism, imperialism for you. All of the gold from the Incas and the Mayas, or sorry, the Aztecs. Mayas are already gone. Oh, Maya. All the shiny stuff from Central America, Mesoamerica, is being exported to the treasury in Spain. And so if you're not Spain, what you're doing is you're trying to attack the treasure fleets and take the gold back to your treasury. So they're worried that France is going to start launching attacks on the treasure fleet. So there's kind of this mutual aggression between the French and the Spanish, and they will simultaneously launch missions to go get each other.
And so basically what happens is there's a man by the name, and I'm not, my French pronunciation is a little rough. So there are two men, and like Barker said, they're trying to remove each other from Florida, right? So there is basically a man by the name of General Pedro Miendez, and I'm probably saying that wrong. Miendez de Avales
would be my guess.
Avalos, sorry.
Pedro Menendez de Avalos.
Ooh, I like that. General Pedro Mendez de Avalos is charged. So he's basically responsible for like getting the French out, right? So he has about 800 people, and they're kind of chasing the French, but they realize that they're not going to catch him. So they go ashore and they establish basically St. Augustine, named after the Feast of St. Augustine. Again, Catholic holiday, right? Feast for saints and things like that. And there's another man from France named Jean, and are you going to say Rabelat or Rabelet?
I think it's Ribault.
Ribault. So Jean Ribault is basically, he sails down to attack and wipe out the Spanish at St. Augustine. So he's going to destroy everything there, so that this is a French settlement, and it's going to be secure in that manner. However, when he sails away, his ships get hit by a hurricane, and he actually ends up way south, closer. So the example that they gave is it's between what would be Daytona Beach, which is a pretty known, fairly well-known beach in Florida, in between Daytona Beach and Cape Canaveral, where we launch our space shuttles. So he lands up somewhere in there. His ships are run aground, right? It's not good.
And there's no NASCAR or rockets yet.
Nope. So it's not a good combo. At the same time, right, that he is sailing south to attack the Spanish at St. Augustine, Miendez de Alvas is leading a force to attack the Fort Caroline up at the mouth or out by the St. Johns River. So since most of the soldiers went to go attack the Spanish, the fort is basically left undefended, right? So he easily captured it, killing most of the guys in battle, or the men in battle. Some of the inhabitants are able to escape and return to France. Mendez de Alvas, actually, he spares all the women, all the children that were there, because again, this was a settlement. It was a we're gonna stay here kind of settlement. It wasn't a let's pillage for gold and leave. And so he actually sends them by ship to Havana. And then that's when he learns that from the natives that there is a large group of white men that are near the beach about a couple miles south of St. Augustine.
And they're essentially stuck. They're shipwrecked. The hurricane hit them. They're stuck on the beach. They lost all their food and fresh water. You're next to the ocean. You can't drink salt water. It's bad for you. And they are stuck at this inlet. They can't get further north. Today there's a bridge. There's a very nice coastal highway bridge that's right there. It's probably I something, but I don't know what it is. Yeah. Probably. I don't know.
No, it's a state highway, I believe.
Oh, well, darn. There goes my joke.
Yep. Still works.
Anyway, state route, who gives a care? But this is what's kind of interesting to me is that Menendez has a French translator that he captured from Fort Caroline, and he convinces them to go over there. And I think at this point, he only has like 70 dudes. So he actually has less dudes. There's less Spaniards another topic for another day. When do Spaniards
Yeah.
stop being Spaniards and become the Spanish? Food for thought. He sends a guy over to convince the other Frenchmen, which I think is like 120, 130-ish, to come over.
111, I think is what they said.
Yeah, to like ferry them across the inlet and then like surrender, convince them to surrender. And they do this, and he again convinces them that they have to be bound, like their arms have to be bound, because, well, they can't just walk them all back to St. Augustine without them being, with them being free, because that's just unacceptable. And Menendez decides that he's going to go through and he's just going to like wipe them out. But the chaplain who's with him, Francisco Mendoza, decides, well, if they're Catholics, we shouldn't kill the Catholics because Catholics are good people. And so they go through and they interview, I guess they ask people like, hey, are you a true Christian? Are you a Huguenot or a Lutheran or whatever? Are you a heretic? Because if you're not Catholic, you're not getting saved.
Yeah.
And I think they go through and there's only 11 people, or no, there's 16 people.
16 people.
11 Catholics, a Breton, which is a person from Brittany in France.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Britney Spears, but
not Britney Spears, and not from Great Britain either.
Yeah. And then there's some people who are like useful. They're artisans. They have skills that they need at St. Augustine. Because you can't exactly just go to Home Depot and like, I need a pro builder to come build me a colony. So you can't kill people that are useful. But anyway, they essentially take them out there behind a sand dune and like murder them.
Yep.
Like it's not a battle. That's why it's called the massacre, right?
Yeah.
Because you're executing in like, well, I guess they're French, so I guess they're not innocent in that regard, but like it's not a battle. Like battle implies that like you both had a chance. This is again like you're killing people with their hands tied behind their back. And the crazy thing is they do it and they leave, and then 2 weeks later they come back and there's another, like the other boat, which actually has Jean Ribault with this group, and they essentially just rinse and repeat.
Yep. This time 134 people are killed this time.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess Jean Ribault, there's middle schools and high schools in Jacksonville named after him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were thinking about removing it. And they were like, well, because he's a colonizer, you know what I mean? And they're like, well, but if you look at the historical record, he actually had good relations with Native Americans. Like he was, which is very much in the French kind of mode of colonization.
Yeah, or colonization, yeah.
I don't even know if you call it colonization because it was, but it was more of like cohabitation.
Yeah, it was cohabitation more in the sense of like it was economic when it was economically prosperous. Like Canada
they were way more interested in living with the natives than the British.
Yeah, and that's where you saw the success for another day, a success in the French and Indian War 200 years down the road. So, but yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it literally is rinse and repeat, and that's where like, so her dad, India's dad would basically talk about it. He'd be like, the blood would run. The inlet was red with the blood of the Huguenots. And it really was, and it was this running like thing, and then I did like the digging on it, and all his stories he's telling are 100% true and stuff like that. But yeah, it's crazy that they sailed and they have this massacre where they kill 111 people, right? They take everybody back else to St. Augustine, and then 2 weeks later, like more French survivors like pop up, and they're like, oh, let's go ahead and just do this again. And this time it's 134 people killed. But what's interesting, and where this gets kind of a little bit more, like as historians, we get to ask these types of questions, the what if questions, right? Obviously they didn't happen. But what if the boats from France or from the French settlement of Fort Caroline had made it to the Spanish settlement? What would have happened? Would the same process have happened because France wanted to expel Spain from Florida? Or would they have done something different? We don't know. But you look at it, it's like, were they on the mission? Was France on the mission to do the exact same thing? Right? We can agree this is a massacre, right? You're talking, it's not like the Boston Massacre where we claim 5 people died and we had this epic massacre, right? Which again, season 1, episode 3, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, does. So if you want to go look at our Boston Massacre, you can. But this is, I got to see if I can do my math here. 245 people, right, massacred just for being French, but less about being French and more about being Protestant and not being Catholic.
Well, and like I looked at the National Park Service. Shout out to the National Park Service. Good job. They raised the question at the end. They go, was it religion? Was it like essentially they called it racial, but ethnic? Was it nationality? Right? Was it Spaniards versus Franks, or was it straight up survival? And so this is, and I guess that historiographer in me says, well, is this Spain trying to justify what they did? There was an account that came out that said, well, if you look at it, like there was 70, Spaniards that went out there. Like, did the Spanish colony, the people at St. Augustine, have the food to sustain a large captive population? And they were, the answer that they have from a time period, it's the brother of Mendez, I believe, that writes it, who says, no, like we couldn't have supported that extra population. So it's simply a matter of, like, he was like, well, it's just, we didn't have a place to put them. So we spared the guys that were useful, and then essentially got rid of the guys that we couldn't take care of.
Exactly.
Which begs the question though, because like they sent the women and children to Havana.
Yeah.
Could you have not just sent the rest of the Huguenots that way? But I mean, that's indicative of a lot of other cultures. Like, you generally kill the marshaled, military able men, and then you, I guess, redistribute the women and children.
Right. Well, who's actually gonna put up a fight?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the big thing is they talk like, are you going to be able to do that? So yeah. What's interesting too, and this is a part that I was double checking because her dad mentioned this, is actually before. So when that first boat, like when the first massacre happens, the Frenchmen actually send over. The first boat that goes over has no people on it in terms of French. They send all their weapons over and all their armor over first. So now all the French are unarmed and come across the inlet and everything like that. And then they wipe them out for not confessing that they're true Catholics. Which again, like at this time, like Barker pointed out, with the Protestant Reformation, this is a huge deal, right? A lot of people are swearing Catholicism because it is been a source of not the religion as a whole, but the what am I thinking of? Like the social aspect of it or the government aspect of it has been corrupt. And that's what leads Martin Luther to nail his 95 Theses to the church door. Basically saying everything that's wrong with Catholicism, and then it creates this wave of Protestant Reformation, and Protestants make up a larger population of Christians than Catholics do even today. So, but yes, exciting. And Matanzas Inlet. Go ahead.
And the name of the inlet today, Matanzas, is the Spanish word for slaughterers. So it's literally like called Murder Inlet or Massacre Inlet. It wasn't called that when they first got there, or else the French probably would have known.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Yeah. But that's why it's named what it's named. I mean, it's always interesting. I was talking just today about Florida and how there's the city of Boca Raton, which literally is a city called the Mouth of the Rat.
Yep.
Which is a great name for a city.
Yeah.
You guys think you think your name of your city sucks.
I've met a lot of people from Boca Raton, which is crazy.
So, good times.
Yep. So nice short episode for us today. rolled right through. Again, we'll post this. It'll be drop on our YouTube. We're super excited. We're on Spotify too. So if you want to follow us, give us shout outs to other people too. If people want to hear two history teachers banter, that's always been kind of our fun thing. And then if you have a comment, something you like, something you don't like, something you want us to talk about, we're always up for suggestions. But I think, I haven't talked about it with Barker yet, but I think we're back on a roll where we might be able to get one out a week, depending on our schedules. So
Yes.
and
Yes.
if,
I
if
think
not,
that's
we'll take our weeks off. You know, we're busy guys. We got to do that. So, but Bark, it's good to see you, man. It's good to have. It's good to be back.
good to see you. And we know that shout out to Scott Ramsey.
Yep, he was super excited about this.
The man,
Yep.
super fan, Scott Ramsey.
Yep.
Greatest principal, Quincy Middle School ever. Quincy Junior High.
Yep. Throwback.
Ride or die. Ride
Yep.
or die.
QJH,
Junior
man.
high.
Hey, go Hawks.
I had something. Oh, tomorrow. Or when you hear this, if you hear this on the day that it comes out, it is Veterans Day.
Yes.
Take some time, thank a veteran for their service to our country, for keeping us safe so that we can sit and banter and have the internet.
Yep. I was huge. Yeah, we did our Veterans Day assembly today, and I always end with the story that my dad came back from Vietnam and got spit on and had to travel around in groups because people wanted to fight him. It just means the world to him. The man's 74 years old, and it means so much to him when people just come and say thank you. And that, I mean, if you see a veteran, if you know a veteran, call them, text them. You know, if you see somebody in out and about, you know, obviously with COVID, we're not shaking really hands yet or anything like that. But just walk up and say thank you. It just means so much to people like that. So again, if you are a veteran, you're watching this, thank you so much for your service. It's greatly appreciated. I know Barker, your dad, was a veteran and everything like that. So obviously his service is still appreciated and everything like that. So, yeah, if you're watching this on Thursday, Veterans Day, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, when World War II or World War I, wow, brain fart, World War I ended, with the armistice signing, which later became the Veterans Day in 1954 when Congress approved it. You know,
when
make
the
sure you're
war
thanking
to
people.
end all wars didn't work so good.
Nope. We dealt with, at that point, we had World War II and Korea. So, but again, thank you, veterans. Thanks, everybody. Bark, anything else?
No, I think we accomplished everything we set out to do.
I love it. I love it. All right, everybody. Until next time, I'm the Turn.
I'm the Bark.
And we're going to be here a long time. Have a good night, everybody.
Be safe.
And be well.